Hey guys, it's Izzy here, and today we are going to be looking at 10 more fantasy books that I want to buy. This is technically a part 2 to the first fantasy books I want to buy video, but you don't have to watch them in order. They can go in any order, but still, I will leave a link down below if you guys would like to check out that video to just see more fantasy book recommendations. Let's get into this video. I have a Goodreads shelf with all of these books. I don't know why that was so hard to get out, but I have a Goodreads bookshelf with all of these books, so if you guys would like to see that, that will also be linked down below in the pinned comment. So the first book we're going to talk about today is A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. This is one that I've heard mixed opinions about. I found out about it through Book of the Month. It was a book I was interested in, but wasn't the one that I ended up picking. There is Travis Wren has an unusual talent for locating missing people. So it's like he can touch something and find out. Yeah, he's hired by families as a last resort. He requires only a single object to find the person who has vanished. So, and then it goes into that, and he goes to this cult-like place, this cult village, and is never seen again or something like that. So that's more of a more realistic fantasy. And then we have high fantasy, which this one, the cover looks like it's going to be a high fantasy, and it is These Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. So I have heard of that author. Don't really remember what this book is about, but Alessandra is tired of being overlooked, but she has a plan to gain power. 1, woo the Shadow King to marry him. 3, kill him and take his kingdom for herself. Definitely, yep, I love that kind of plot. And wow, this is actually a young adult fantasy, which is odd. You're not going to see a lot of young adult fantasy on here. I feel like this would be a lot better as an adult fantasy, but I mean, I haven't read it. It might be great, but I just feel like with that kind of plot, it would do better as adult. Then we have The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco, and all these were added in October, so I feel like they might have some spooky vibes to them, but we are so close to spooky season. I actually placed a huge order with Bath & Body Works today. Their Halloween line came out. That's so way besides the point, but stay tuned, it will probably be featured in a video. So this is The Bone Witch, back to that. A story of scorned witches, sinister curses, and resurrection. The Bone Witch is the start of a dark fantasy trilogy. And let's see if it's adult. It's young adult once again. I could have sworn this was adult, but apparently it's not. So this one has a very young adult looking cover, so I'm going to assume, once again, it's young adult. And that is City of Thorns, the first book in the Demon Queen Trials series. Don't know if it's a trilogy or not, but by C.N. Crawford. So I never thought I'd be singing happy birthday to myself in a dungeon. Okay, this is from the rest, sounds adult. And yet when a sinfully sexy demon crashes happy hour, that is exactly what happens. He's known as the Lord of Chaos. He's mistaken me for my succubus. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Incubus. It's like incubus, but succubus, I think. Okay. Doppelganger. Yeah, fantasy romance with demons and all of that. Demons have always freaked me out. Well, not always. They didn't start freaking me out till 7th grade, so 10 years ago. So should I really be reading a book where it's sexualizing them? Probably not, but Now we have 2 from the same series. One is technically the first book in the series, and then the other is a prequel. So Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I'm sure y'all know about it. I'm not going to say it's a classic, but it's been out for 30 years, movie, all of that, which is the Owen sisters confront the challenges of life and love in this bewitching novel from New York Times bestselling author Alice Hoffman. I read one book in this series. I read The Rules of Magic. I don't know why I can't talk today, but that is the 0.2, so also a prequel. I read that one, really enjoyed it. You don't have to read these books in order, apparently. I mean, I didn't and enjoyed it. So this is more magical realism. So the first prequel is Magic Lessons, when this one takes place in the 1600s, Salem, Massachusetts, that setting. When the second prequel takes place in like the 1960s, and then the first book came out in the 1990s, so we can assume it takes place in the 1990s. We have one that is very popular on BookTube. I have no idea about BookTok. BookTok is irrelevant to me. Yeah. So, A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This is a lyrical and dreamy reimagining of Dracula's Brides. A Dowry of Blood is a story of desire, obsession, and emancipation. Saved from the brink of death by a mysterious stranger, Constanta is transformed from a medieval peasant into a bride fit for an underlying king. I want to read this one so bad. I want to buy it, so I can't read it because I don't own it, but really want to read it. And it's fantasy, horror, LGBT, historical fiction, vampires, adult retellings, romance, lesbian, paranormal. Yeah. Then we have a sequel, and that is Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor, and this is the second book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. So I owned the first book back when it originally came out. I don't know, like 2009, I don't know, way back in the day. Never read it, gave it away because I was in middle school and I'm like, I want to be edgy, I don't read. That kind of thing. But I remembered having the book, the cover just really stood out to me, so I went and bought it on eBay. I don't even know if I got it on eBay. I bought it used, but so I got a copy and read it and actually really enjoyed it. We kind of have alternate dimension kind of thing going on, and yeah, let me tell you all what it's about. So, once upon a time, an angel and a devil fell in love and dared to imagine a world free of bloodshed and war. So, the first book is kind of about the daughter of the angel and the devil. She doesn't know that she is a daughter of angels and devils and all of that. And it takes place in Prague, which I feel like is a very unique setting for a book. It's the only book I've read there. And this is again a fantasy young adult romance. Then we have She Who Became the Sun in the Radiant Emperor series, and this is by Shelley Parker Chan. So Mulan meets the Song of Achilles. I haven't read the Song of Achilles, but Mulan, love her. I'm gonna have songs from that movie stuck in my head now. But an accomplished poetic debut of war and destiny sweeping across an epic alternate China. So this is in the 1300s in China. I talked about in the last video, I love when fantasy books take place in real world settings. The author doesn't really have to worry about world building as much, so you have a lot more like character development and other things, more plot focused, more character focused, and all of that. It's very interesting when that's the case in a book. And so this is fantasy, historical fiction, LGBT again. So the last book we're going to talk about here is from 1992, and it is The Greek Myths by Robert Graves. So combines in a single volume the complete text of the definite 2-volume classic citing all the ancient myths. So it's Greek mythology all bound up together. So mythology classics, nonfiction. Those tags are very random. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!